There were a lot of different problems with me that were going on that I've been talking to doctors for 10 years.
What? I didn't know the range went that high. That honestly explains a lot. When I saw Dana, I thought that the situation was pretty bad. That makes a lot of sense. Wow, that is a serious situation. The secret to Dana White's body transformation superhuman protocol. That's a lot of promise in a title. First, the secret, what are we going to discover? And second, a superhuman protocol. That's a big lift. Is he going to deliver? All right, let's go.
What's up, everybody? We're here at UFC headquarters, and we're here in my gym that is actually connected to my...
His gym? Holy shit. This is enough for like 45 people. Is this all for him? If he is, I'm so jealous. My gym has 5 pieces of equipment. He's got 40 or 50 here. What does it say on the wall? If I can see it and believe it, then I can achieve. He's limiting his own potential. He's just saying the things he can see and believe in, but if he can't see it, he can't do it. I don't know. You walk into this gym and I feel like there's some reality distortion stuff going on that I actually feel more myopic. Let's carry on.
So this June will be 2 years that I started this health journey that I'm on, right?
Okay, I'm actually pretty relieved. Dana White's a pretty cool guy. I've seen him in various press conferences. He does not look well. I was fearful that I was going to see a headline like Dana White has a stroke and dies. He's actually a really cool guy, and I'm really happy he's doing something about his health. Being unhealthy is a very very easy thing to slip into, and so good job, Dana, for doing something about it.
There were a lot of different problems with me that were going on that I've been talking to doctors for 10 years. None of them could fix any of my problems. I had sleep apnea. I had problems with my legs. I had problems I didn't realize I had that doctors didn't even tell me. So a friend of mine, Kerry Kasem, came to me and said, you have to meet this guy, Gary Brecka. He's incredible. He's a human biologist. He'll change your life. And I didn't believe in any of this stuff.
God, he looks intense, right? Like you pull up there, that guy's not messing around. You walk in there, the ultimate human, he's wearing a shirt, the ultimate human. Is he the ultimate human? Or are you going to be the ultimate human? Who in this situation is the ultimate human? But he's definitely not around.
We finally ended up connecting, and he did my blood work. Through that, he blew me away. He said, give me...
What? Triglycerides are 764? I didn't know they could be that. I didn't know the range went that high. That honestly explains a lot. When I saw Dana, I thought that the situation was pretty bad. That makes a lot of sense. Wow, that is a serious situation. Those are some bad markers. Kudos to Dana for making this public. It is not easy to face your problems. It is not easy to make your problems public. You know, we all want to put our best face on, so good job him for being transparent.
Give me 12 weeks and I'll change your whole life. It didn't take 12 weeks. A few weeks into it, I started to feel better, started to have more energy, started sleeping better.
That's so true. If you make a change today, tomorrow you're going to feel the effects. Like if you feel in a slump and you need to get going, then just start. One baby step to get you the domino effect of the power law. Just start going. So that's cool. He's getting momentum right off the bat. Look at that. He's determined. I respect climbing out of a hole you're in, and he's at it. He's after it. Good job.
So today, I'm gonna walk you through my facility here that I have in my office and show you what I do.
Wait, what do we say? What's the statement here on the wall? Okay, because you might as well be dead. What? Seriously, if you always put limits on what you can do, physical or anything else, it'll spread over the rest of your life. I don't know if that quote, it's way too long to put on the wall. Like, who's gonna stop and read the whole thing? And the structure of the sentences, is the grammar even correct? I would probably try to put that into ChatGPT, shorten the quote a little bit, so when I look at the wall, I feel it, you know? Like, I'm repping this out, I got one more to go, give me something. It's not like I can be like, oh, what's that quote again? Seriously, it's just not gonna work. Dana, I can help you with this. We can come up with some new statements that I think are going to help with your superhuman protocol.
So come with me, I'm gonna show you everything we got. There are 4 components to the superhuman protocol. The BMF pad, cold plunging, red light therapy.
It's like the Cybertruck turned into a cold plunge. Like someone scrapped the Cybertruck so they can make a cold plunge. So now they're doing cyber cold plunges.
So this here is the PEMF pad.
Is this a massage parlor? What's going on here?
I actually have this at my bed at home. So this goes in your bed. The machine, right next to it here, you turn it on. You literally just lay on this thing. I sleep on it every night.
PEMF stands for Pulse Electromagnetic Field. A pulse electromagnetic field is really mimicking what we get from Mother Nature, and that's the magnetism, the low Gauss current that we get from the surface of the Earth.
So with the PEMF, I don't know the science behind it. And they just strung together a bunch of words about what it is, what it does, what endpoints it's supposed to have. I've learned in my years at Blueprint is it's very hard to determine the efficacy of a given strategy. Some things emerge and the evidence is very strong, like extra virgin olive oil. Good evidence, very solid choice. When you get into other areas, it's very difficult. And you can have experts look at technologies and both read the same literature and come up with entirely different conclusions. And so I don't have an opinion. Maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing, but I would be interested to know what are they measuring to assess whether it's working.
A cold plunge.
This is like
I go in at 50 degrees for 3 minutes. So when you start cold plunging, it's very hard at first. It's very mentally challenging.
Yeah, for those of you who haven't cold plunged, it is very challenging.
My drug of choice, I don't think anything makes you feel better for longer. It can actually benefit you by indirectly affecting insulin levels, by activating cold shock proteins, by turning on thermogenesis for brown fat and exchanging calories for heat, as well as increasing your mood by releasing endorphins and dopamine.
Yeah, so same thing with cold plunge is we have not incorporated cold plunge into Blueprint because the evidence doesn't meet the criteria for our specific objectives of longevity. It seems like Dana is doing this for his mental well-being. It makes him feel awake. You can spend so much time doing an infinite number of things that are worthless. So know what you're trying to achieve and then make sure you're achieving that.
Once I'm done cold plunging, then I do the oxygen therapy.
So this is called EWOT, exercise with oxygen therapy. It's based on a well-researched principle called multi-step oxygen therapy. And at about 10 and a half, 11 minutes, you've completed putting 900 liters of this oxygen through the body. And that is doing your cells good.
Yeah, same thing as before. This is the challenge, of course, when you're watching this is there's this idea that, Dana White is a successful person. He is in a position of power with the UFC. And so there's this idea that if he's doing this and someone else is saying that he's doing it and it's a good idea, but in none of the therapies so far have they offered up what biomarkers they're isolating and what they're trying to see for effect. And so again, this is the thing is you can spend a lifetime doing things without knowing if they actually work. And so the important thing is measurement, knowing the biomarker you're after, and then seeing its effect.
The next step is the red light therapy bed. I do it for 20 minutes.
I do red light therapy 12 minutes, 3 times a week, and I have 2 panels, and it's okay. It's not the top of the list for power laws, but it definitely is good for various things. Let's see what they say.
Therapy or photobiomodulation uses infrared light and near-infrared light, different wavelengths of light, well known for reducing inflammation, improving eyesight, improving collagen, elastin, and fibrin in the skin. It's very good for empowering the mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell, to actually improve its metabolism. It's a great way to recover. It's the rage in athletic performance, in anti-aging and longevity.
Where he was going was good. Like it helps on mood, it helps on elastin, it helps on energy, but anti-aging and longevity, like those 2 words were just dropped in, like magical words. It's kind of like it's the soup of everything. And red light therapy has a specific set of benefits, but it's not this thing is gonna solve all things. I think it's a good health practice, not a power law. But again, just be careful when you hear these words strung together, you might be led to believe this is a panacea. It's not the case.
10 minutes a day if you use it every day, or 20 minutes 2 to 3 times a week seems to be the sweet spot. This is an incredibly therapeutic tool. If I only had one biohacking device in my life, it would be a red light therapy bed.
So the last thing I do is the red light, and then that kicks off my workout.
I don't think that would be my number 1 longevity thing. I would probably say sleep. Sleep is the powerhouse of our conscious existence, and when you're well rested, life becomes manageable. When you're not, it feels really challenging. And so if you want to do positive things in your life, like eat well and exercise and be a good friend and a good, good person at work, then sleep is kind of the thing that's gonna power you through. The other things, like if you're relying upon cold plunge and red light therapy to compensate for a poor diet and bad sleep, it's just not gonna do it. It's not powerful enough. So get the basics right. Sleep leads to exercise, which leads to diet. So just kind of in a cascading format. Okay, great. I'm just still looking at that quote again. If I can see it and believe it, then I can achieve it. But like, again, there's two conditional statements. Like one, you have to see it, and then two, you have to believe it. So what would my quote on the wall be? It would be, hi friend, good job. You know, warm, welcome, like we showed up, we're at the gym, we're doing our best, life is hard. Hope you had a great night's sleep.
Every day that I wake up, I try to be better than I was yesterday. And I spent the last almost year and a half getting in the best shape that I could possibly get in. And now
So I appreciate Dana's humility here. He said, getting into the best shape I could possibly get into. A lot of people would fill that sentence with a platitude of I'm in the best shape of my life. And precision is important. So I appreciate Dana being accurate here.
I'm looking to take it to a whole nother level in 24.
I wonder what he has in mind. If it's a whole new level in 24, the framing of the video is superhuman. And I think it's a cool idea. What can we humans aspire to? Like, where can we place our ambitions? Is it like, I'm going to lower my triglycerides, I'm going to have better cholesterol, I'm going to, achieve better cardiovascular fitness? I think it'd be cool if we could get into an age where we humans could legitimately express superhuman goals and for them to be real. For someone like Dana and myself, I'm 46. And so not a spring chicken in terms of like, I'm not 20 at peak athletic performance. So it'd be cool if we could legit all express that.
Since I started taking my health seriously almost 2 years ago, my life has completely changed. I'm more active, I have more energy, I'm more productive at work, I'm more productive in life, period. I swear to God, I feel like I am 25 years old again. When you look at me and you say, oh yeah, well you got money, you can do this and that and everything, it's not about money or not having money, it's about...
Money really helps.
You guys can join a gym and Gary can walk you through protocols that you can do. If you don't have all the equipment that I have, there's no excuse.
Sometimes there is, like life is pretty hard. And I think the idea that this full on, like no excuse, David Goggins like thing, it can be problematic.
So those days you don't want to do it, guess what you got to do? You got to suck it the up and do it. Stay hard.
Can we be real for a minute? Like this is not a situation where you just put out a platitude like anyone. People are in shitty situations. They sometimes need serious help. Sometimes it can feel awful when others put the expectation on you that it is your fault. I know when I was chronically depressed, I felt paralyzed to do anything. And it wasn't if someone pulled up and gave me a fancy quote or patted me on the back of like, get your shit together, Brian. I was paralyzed. Like I just wanted to lay down and die. So for those of you out there who are in that spot, and there's a lot of you, because this is a very common human occurrence, I would take a much softer approach with you and say, it's okay. Like it is very hard to be human, and a lot of time in life, it just feels miserable. You are not the misery you feel. That's something outside of you, and you can make small baby steps, but yeah. Just maybe a slightly different coaching or motivation approach between Dana and myself.
So we just finished a whole explanation of the superhuman protocol.
Oh, by the way, I'm pretty skeptical of the superhuman protocol. I get that it's a marketing frame, but we basically learned about PEMF, cold plunge, and oxygen therapy. I don't know. What we did at Blueprint is we combed through all the scientific literature and we tried to find the best evidence for health span, lifespan increase. And then we applied those power laws. But we were extremely rigorous about the scientific analysis, looking at the data and then looking at effect size. And we don't do any of these things. This is not to say that they're not legitimate. This is just to say it didn't pass our assessment. Now, maybe the evidence is emergent. Maybe we don't know about some of the evidence. Maybe it's something that is additive to something else. I don't know. I don't want to be too conclusive. I do want to say, however, I think the superhuman protocol is a bit of a stretch of a promise.
Really, really clear. You do not need all of this fancy, expensive equipment. Sure, if you got 120 grand lying around, I would buy that equipment before I bought a Range Rover.
120 grand. That's a lot of money.
But most of us don't have that kind of money to spend. So
True.
let me tell you how you can do it for free. If you don't have the money for a fancy PEMF mat, then by all means, take your shoes off and touch Mother Earth. The second thing you can do if you don't want to buy an EWAT machine or exercise with oxygen therapy is learning how to do 8 minutes of breath work. You can get all of the benefits of exercise with oxygen therapy without spending a dime, just learning how to breathe properly. And then the final thing is, if you don't have the money to spring for a red light therapy bed, expose your skin to sunlight, especially first thing in the morning. It helps to regulate cortisol, helps to regulate melatonin. It will do more for your circadian rhythm and to help you sleep that night than you could possibly imagine simply by exposing yourself to sunlight in the morning. Those are 3 things you can do to change the trajectory of your life that will not cost you a dime. Touch the surface of the earth, do breath work, expose your skin to sunlight, and that is just science.
So I'm sure everybody came out of the holidays, gangbusters and New Year's resolutions. And if you've fallen off already, March means that spring's coming.
Yeah, it's true. Everyone around New Year's, big ambitions for life, but then by the time April arrives, it's a different game.
And here comes summer. So put together your program, be consistent, get after it. I guarantee you start doing this, you're gonna have the best summer of your life.
All right, so my summary of the video, good job, Dana White. He took control of his health. He was in a bad situation and he's making positive steps. He looks a lot better. We started off with his biomarkers being really bad. I didn't know that triglycerides could be that high. I've never heard of that before. So it would have been cool to see at the end of the video where his biomarkers were at after. You know, he made the statement that he feels like he's 25 years old. It'd be cool if we saw some biomarkers that were heading in that direction. Good motivational video. I give Dana, let's say, a 10 out of 10 for his charisma. He's bringing a lot of enthusiasm. I think he's a good example. People look to powerful others for guidance on how they can behave. And when Dana, who's at the epicenter of this fight culture with the UFC, when others see him in unhealthy habits, they also excuse themselves for having the same. When Dana's fit and healthy, then others are going to want to be it. So Dana is doing a positive thing in the world. He's putting his health making his health a priority, and others are going to mimic Dana's behavior. So good job, Dana, on that. On the science, if I compare it to what we as a Blueprint team have done, it's not made our list. So I don't think that I would be recommending anyone do this. The cold plunge is not part of our practice because it doesn't match our longevity goals. It doesn't mean there's not benefits in other things. So if you do have a cold plunge practice, great. It's important to know what you're trying to achieve by it, and if you can measure those things. If you're trying to do it just because you feel good, it's something hard you can do, great. But in terms of the scientific benefit of doing these things, we neither have biomarkers or do we have literature to say that what we're doing is a good idea. So on the science, it's like, a 3 or 4 out of 10. And then finally, the take homes of this were walk on grass, do breath work, and look at the sun. Those may be fine, but they're really not the power laws that drive our day-to-day consciousness. It's sleep and diet and exercise. These are the hard things. And if we want to make meaningful change in how we feel and how we look and what we're trying to do in life, Dana talks about him feeling great and wanting to be a top performer in life. I would go after the power laws. That's really where the money's at. So I'd say overall, good job, Dana White, for being public about his expedition to health. I think it fell short for a superhuman protocol. I don't think there were any secrets in there that are novel, but it was a cool video. It was fun to watch. Hopefully it serves the purpose of encouraging others to adopt more healthy habits. If you want to check out my protocol, I've called it the Don't Die protocol. So it is a different objective. If we get to a point where we can make superhuman goals, I'm down for that. Right now, I think what's within our power is to slow our speed of aging and try to reverse the aging damage that has happened, and do so in a systematic way with biomarkers measured, scientific interventions implemented, and then measurement again to see if it has the effect. By doing that in a methodical way, you can actually make sense. Is this worth the effort or not? Before you go out and start dropping 120 grand on equipment, know what you're trying to achieve and make sure you can achieve it. So if you want to learn more about my Don't Die protocol, I've made the entire thing for free. It's available online. The recipes, the protocols, my data, my experience, what I've learned, the mistakes we've made, and what you can do. And friends, for those of you who are struggling, I feel you, I'm with you. I hope that I'm a positive voice in your mind, that I'm empathetic to your situation. And if I can encourage you to make the smallest of baby steps to improve your life, I'm there with you. It's very hard to be human, and we can do this together.